I got failed at the place that I wanted to eat lunch at today. The line was so freaking long, it was going on to the next floor of the mall that I was in. Anyway, I just pulled the trigger, and today we're going to one of the places that inspired one of my all-time favorite animes, Kami-sama Hajimemashita, or Kami-sama Kiss, and we're going to Kawagoe in Saitama. It's like an hour and 20, an hour and a half sort of minutes away from Tokyo.
The next station is Kawagoe.
I was kind of scared because obviously if my phone malfunctioned again, this is kind of a far place to be stuck in, okay? It was great weather though. From what I saw, Kawagoe has 3 things that are really popular: pudding, everything sweet potato, and every restaurant is gonna have some type of eel. Also, on the way to like the main center part, there was so many vintage luxury stores. I actually went into a couple of them, and I can safely say they're way more affordable than any of the Tokyo ones. And guys, by the way, they're not only exclusively for like female items, okay? They have watches and pouches and chrome hearts and all guy luxury stuff too. But my first destination was, of course, a temple, a shrine. I had to get a stamp, at least one. There's a couple of shrines here in temples, so I gotta go to at least the main one. When I was interacting with a lot of like shopkeepers, locals, or just people working here in general, they were so incredibly friendly, so friendly, incredibly overly polite, I might even say, catering to all of your needs and wants. But ultimately, of course, they were just the absolute sweetest. This stamp was way fancier than anything I've ever had. Haha, you can tell we're nearing the main part when you suddenly start seeing hordes of people. It was so much nicer than I expected. Kawagoe is filled. It's kind of like Asakusa. It's filled with stands and food and souvenirs and really personalized gifts and stuff like that. It's so freaking cool, and it all looks like super traditional and stuff like that. I even passed like an actual market at one point, like a food market. People were genuinely just buying their groceries, you know? I obviously wanted to try everything and anything, but I was headed to this one place, Kawagoe Pudding. As I said, Kawagoe has a lot of like pudding stuff, so had to give it a shot, and I did my research, and this was the place apparently. I got a matcha pudding, and it was fantastic. I actually kept the glass. And this big store had so many freaking things, so many things. But look at the earrings. I was dying for these. They had just about any souvenir, and everything's like super local as well. It's great. But look at this knife store. Look at the size of those boys. Oh my god. So this is the place. Whether you've seen the anime or not, this is the place. It's called Toki no Kane, and it's basically like a bell tower. There's a shrine when you go under it as well, but it's not as exciting as the actual bell tower. They also had a lot of like mochi stuff, especially something called warabi mochi, which are like little squares, and they're dipped in powder, usually matcha or peanut. They also had some theme stores like Ghibli and Miffy the Rabbit. As I said, sweet potato is everything, so they had ice cream and sandwiches and all kinds of other things that you wouldn't imagine to be done with a sweet potato, but is. I got some sweets from this store, which I'll try later. And this yuzu honey, as I said, the shopkeepers were just so accommodating and helpful. The Ghibli store was something else though. I wanted to get something from here, but there were so many freaking people, and I just couldn't decide on one thing. This is the Miffy store, and this was freaking expensive. Everything was so expensive. Another thing I noticed in Kawagoe is actually there's a lot of graveyards here. You'll pass like these wooden sticks everywhere, and what they are is just like someone's gravestone essentially. They tend to block them out, but when you look on Google Maps, like you'll see the areas, and then you see like a freaking chameleon out of nowhere. People were taking a lot of photos here, and I thought it was like this frog statue, but actually there's a bunch of koi fish here. So I'm looking at the koi fish and I'm like, wow, so pretty, so cool. And this freaking gold one, I don't even know if that's a koi fish. What is that? It's so freaking golden. It was unreal to look at. Unreal. The lighting was also a paid actor, because what? As I said, eel stuff is very popular here, so I had to finally sit down at a restaurant. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. This place, I waited for almost 3 hours to get in and get my food. I actually made friends with the family who was also waiting before me. We were all like dying, waiting around. It was getting to the point where it was just like not funny, you know? We could see that tables were empty and they were just not seating people at them. We weren't really sure why. Maybe something with the cook. I don't know. I was getting so friggin' impatient, but after the first hour, I was like, nope, I've committed at this point. The family was actually right behind me, but the husband was Japanese, the wife was Russian, and their kids spoke like 50 billion languages. But this is what I got. This is the main thing that gets served here. And I waited an hour for the food to even arrive. And I wasn't really expecting this. But they showed up with the live eel right in front of my face. And I was like, whoa, okay. I can see it there. I'm glad that they actually showed it though, because that means it's fresh. Everything is freshly made, freshly cut, freshly prepared. And after an hour of waiting, the food finally got to me. I'm not gonna lie, this smelled and looked incredible and delicious. First bite on camera. Let's go. First try. Let's see if this was worth the 3-hour wait. Listen, it was good. It was really good. But I don't know if it was worth all that time. Before heading home, I decided to give one more shrine a go. And when I showed up there, I think there was like an event going on. So it felt kind of awkward going around to like film stuff. And, you know, there were like food stalls and people were clearly celebrating something. So instead, I just made my way to the station, got on the first train and headed back home. So remember how I said I got sweets from one of the stores? So I got this one and I also got some warabi mochi. I should have filmed a straight up review of me eating this. It's salty. I thought it was gonna be sweet. It's throwing me off so much. Oh my goodness. I think the top layer only is salted. Inside it tastes sweet, like it's just regular red bean, I believe. Or actually it might be sweet potato because Kawagoe is very like sweet potato oriented. It's so strange though, because the saltiness kind of gets left behind on your lips. So when you're going like this, licking your lips, you just get a salty flavor. It's so strange. I don't hate it, but I was just not expecting the taste at all. Okay, it's kind of really late, so I'm gonna have to whisper, but I felt like trying these. Clearly both are coming. Nice and sweet. If you like peanut butter, you'll love this. And I personally, if I ever had to choose like mochi, peanut flavored mochi is always my ultimate choice. They did good in putting a lot of powder, because without it, it definitely doesn't taste like anything. Excellent.